We also need to consider that all of these practically 4 children, not 3.6 children, because it's tough to deal with that, might not necessarily even attend school within our district. Some of these children could attend a parochial school or a private school outside of the district even. So if we do the analysis and go through it, and we work the numbers appropriately, this instance of whether residential is a positive or a negative rateable, it is a positive rateable in this instant. If we were supporting a situation where we were putting in 200 new school children, then that residential situation would be a negative rateable. So we need to clarify, I think, the numbers in terms of the perception as to what is the impact of residential versus commercial. Clearly, I agree with you that commercial is more desirable, without a doubt, and if we could have achieved commercial at that facility, that would have been an optimal agreement. However, we tried, it was rejected, the developer wanted 42, we wanted 21, we settled with something very close to our 21, so I think from a township standpoint, if I go through all the factors and really appreciate the impact to our school system of the costs are none in terms of being incremental to educate 3.6 incremental children. So it's a fallacy to think when we have a situation where we're adding 3.6 children that we are increasing the cost of educating in Hanover Township by 3.6 times $14,000, which is approximately $47,000. Doesn't hold. It does not hold. And if we use accurate numbers, we also need to have an appreciation that the amount of taxes that will be paid at that facility will be $27,281, and over the next 20 years, assuming a 4% annual increase, the same as the cap it is today, this will increase to approximately $56,000. Those are all the numbers which I have on it.
Now, I've heard this sermon before. When Rowe Manufacturing, when Forgione got approved for 50 houses, a lady from Gristmill got up. She was on the PTA, and she said, did anybody give any thought to the impact on our schools? Well, Howard Olson was on the planning board at the time, and he said, you brought that up before. I'm sick of hearing that. Well, 2 weeks later, in the paper, it said we had to build more classrooms, hire more teachers, and I believe we're still paying for it. A 20-year bond, what was it, $7 million? Did we not increase our schools and we're still paying the bond?
In the instance of Rowe Manufacturing,
residential Sterling Park,
they produce far greater density in terms of
exactly.
children.
Also, you're talking about 3.6 children. It's all cumulative. All over town, houses one by one are being built. More and more children are moving into town. Is our population decreasing or increasing?
I can't put a moratorium on whether people sell their houses and an older couple.
Then how can you say 3.6 children?
At this facility.
Way you could ever say how many kids are going to be here a year from now?
You asked the question as to what would be generated by this facility. By this facility.
I don't believe it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
I've heard this before. I've been to 1 million planning board meetings, board of adjustment meetings.
The statistics of 3.6 children were developed by a professional planner who analyzed the RM zones within Hanover Township. His analysis indicates, Mr. Branchow, that on average, within Hanover Township RM, which is mixed use, affordable, as well as a market rate, will produce 3.6. I have to take that professional's quantification as is.
You can take it, but I don't, because I've seen it before.
Mr. Musgrove, let's stop you.
Okay, I understand my 4 minutes is up.
Well, I wasn't going to time you out. No, you're perfectly welcome to stand at that podium. I just would appreciate that, A, we don't play gotcha, and B, we don't get argumentative. Just be courteous as you have been.
I think there's
If you have
something,
anything
there's
else-
something wrong. I think we're going backwards in time. We're doing away with the open space and we're increasing residential.
We're not-
I don't understand it.
We're not doing away with open space. Please don't say that.
Well, you're not helping it.
Open Space Committee, the Open Space Fund still exists in its totality. It's inaccurate to say that we're doing away with open space. We have the same rate this year as we did last year. We just carried the same ordinance forward into this year, but certainly it has to be a new ordinance because it's a new year. So we're still setting aside that penny. The Open Space Fund does have a reserve, I might say, in it. Yes, we are distributing those funds in an initiative to improve the open space recreation areas that we have. And I'm sorry I have to tell you this, but we're doing it for the children. So that they have a place to recreate. You know, it's just one of those things. This may come as a shock to the public and to you as well, but I used to be a child. And this is what happens to children. They grow up and become adults.
And you obviously think I'm a
And
child.
you have to remember that all of our volunteer firemen in both districts, all of our volunteer first aid people are all at one time children. And that's where we draw from to provide that great volunteer service that they provide. Us guys with the white hair, we're not running around with air tanks, hoses, and leather jackets and hats.
Not anymore.
I don't get the connection.
The connection is we need the children, just as we need our seniors, just as we need our young parents, just as we need our middle-aged people.
Okay.
We all make up this global society that we live in.
So next time you run for office, put that on your resume.
I did, if you heard me
need the
when I was
children.
campaigning,
That was at the
funny because
Republican
I just
Club.
went right back into my campaign.
Republican Club. Republican Club doesn't mean anything. Everybody knows who they're voting for at the Republican Club.
Did we exhaust it?
Sure, why not?
Thank you, Mr. Boswell.
Okay.
I appreciate your comments
You
and
made
your
me come
attendance.
out on a night like this, you'll pay for it.
You're always welcome. Believe me, you are. Anyone else in the public would like to be heard?
Good evening. I'm Tammy Wagner, 10 Vale Road, Whippany. I first want to thank Mr. Schleifer and Mr. Faramoska for taking an active approach in trying to save the taxpayers some dollars. I have some reservations and concerns about combining these two departments. As many of you know, I sat on the Recreation Commission for a long time, and prior to that, I was always very active in the recreation programs.
And I think you should add that you were on the Board of Education for many years as
And
we
I
served
was.
together. And
Yes.
your service should be recognized.
Thank you. So I think I come here with some knowledge of what this group does, okay, what this department does. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be here next week, so I apologize for speaking tonight rather than next week, because I know that's when you would prefer me to speak, but I will be out of town. But I would like you to hear what I have to say. If this is just about money, I think that there are other avenues that have not been touched on. If we're looking to bring in more money to help the community, why not add $1 onto every recreational program? $1 onto every program that we have in recreation. That's not an awful lot to ask of the residents, and it will make a big impact.